Moving forward will be difficult after the deadly Santa Fe school shooting.
But the school district is trying to move forward, telling us what's next for both students and teachers. That as many pay respects to the victims.
Stephanie Whitfield is live in Santa Fe with how the district will help students cope with the tragedy.
Guys, it was clear the Santa Fe officials who spoke today are grieving with the rest of the community. But even so, Santa Fe ISD officials have decided to finish the year bringing students back to Santa Fe High School next Tuesday. Now, when that happens, there will be extra security on campus. There will also be counselors and mental health experts available to whoever needs it. But a mom today spoke out during the press conference saying she won't force her daughter to go back to that school if she isn't ready. And school district officials responded they won't penalize kids who are struggling. Instead, they'll help them. There was another poignant moment when the Galveston County Sheriff spoke as well. He showed just how close-knit the Santa Fe community is.
My wife went to Santa Fe. My children go to Santa Fe. My grandchildren go to Santa Fe. I live in this community. My granddaughter was 3 doors down from where this occurred in that school. Anybody wants to hear their heart stop and see how long they cannot breathe? Wait till that phone call comes in. Until you know they're safe.
He also shared what he could about the investigation, saying the first officers engaged the suspect about 4 minutes after the shooting started. He also revealed that the 17-year-old suspect is now on suicide watch in jail. Meanwhile, family members of the victims continue to plan funerals this week. A family friend of Cynthia Tisdale, one of the teachers who was killed, was at the press briefing. She said that funeral will happen Friday morning at Bay Area Christian Church in League City. Guys, back to you.
Just one of many, so sadly. Stephanie Whitfield, thanks so much.